Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ramon, the Dutch film buff, and in this video I'm gonna show you some VHS tapes again of movies that were released in the 1980s. The first one today is a very special one to me personally. It's the comedy Three Amigos by John Landis, starring Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Phil Hartman, John Lovitz, Joe Montana, and perhaps the best performer in this movie is AlFonso Arau, who plays the leader of the bandits, called El Guapo, handsome guy. And yeah, this is a very special movie to me because all my best friends, we've known each other for over decades. Some I befriended in kindergarten. We all share a passion for this movie and we watched it dozens of times. Like my brother, younger brother Michel, or my best friend Twan, who I found out recently is watching my channel. And it has become even more important to me because one of our best friends, my dear friend Leon, passed away 1.5 years ago after battling cancer for 5.5 years, gruesome battle. And in the final stage of his disease, my friends and me, we took him away on a weekend, a sort of farewell weekend. And he didn't, he slept a lot of the time during the weekend. He used a lot of morphine, of course. But when he was clear-minded, he wanted to watch a movie, and we watched this one for the last time together. That doesn't mean I will ever associate this movie with sadness, because whenever I think of Three Amigos, I will always think of the joy and the good times we all had together. Yeah, Three Amigos, very special movie to me. This is the Italian political thriller Il Caso Moro, The Moro Affair, directed by Giuseppe Ferrara, and stars Jean-Maria Volonté. Most people will know him because he played in the first two Leone westerns, Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More. Yeah, decent political thriller. This one I've already shown you on DVD, Down and Out in Beverly Hills by Paul Mazursky. And this was a made-for-television movie directed by John Mackenzie, British director. And the movie is Act of Vengeance, basically about a union corruption during the 60s. Stars Charles Bronson, Alan Bernstein, Wilford Brimley, and also in the movie Alan Barkin, and I think Keanu Reeves is in this one. Yeah. This is Brian De Palma's, I think not very well known, this comedy, Wise Guys, with Danny DeVito and Joe Piscopo. It's not one of his best, but still a decent one. Ivan Reitman's comedy thriller Legal Eagles. Already shown you the DVD of this one. This is the action thriller Black Moon Rising, based on a story by John Carpenter, who co-wrote the screenplay. Stars Tommy Lee Jones, Linda Hamilton, and a very cool high-tech car. That's why I liked the film back in the day. This is the sword and sorcery film Amazons, with a very cool cover. I don't know if this is a retail or a rental tape, but it is a cool one to own. Pretty bad adventure film by Jim Goddard, Shanghai Surprise, with Sean Penn and Madonna. They were dating, I guess, back in the day, but I'm not quite sure. Wonderfully animated film by Don Bluth, an American Till. I really like the cover art of this rental tape. This is one of my favorite David Lynch films, the surreal neo-noir Blue Velvet with Isabella Rossellini, Carl MacLachlan, and of course Dennis Hopper. I think I've already shown you this one on DVD. Film produced by Canon Link about a killer monkey. Stars Terence Stamp and Elizabeth Shue. This is Sammo Hung's Shanghai Express, aka Millionaires Express, and this is the UK retail tape. As a kid, I always liked the sex comedy Hard Bodies, and this is the disappointing sequel, Hard Bodies Part 2, but it's in my collection. And this is the crime thriller Foxtrap, starring Fred Williamson, who plays a private detective who has to travel to Europe to find a missing girl. I think he also directed this one. This is the gangster comedy Tough Guys, starring Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster, who were both already in their 70s when they did this movie. Pretty good one. This is Julian Temple's musical Absolute Beginners with David Bowie and Patty Kensett. Yeah, set in 1950s London, if I remember correctly. This is the Nansploitation film POW The Escape, produced by Canon, starring David Carradine, Steve James, and Marco. And I'm really honest, maybe it's even more entertaining than Missing in Action. A Dutch film, a sequel to a film that was released 2 years prior to this one, a black comedy called Schatjes, translated as Darlings. And Darlings was a black comedy about two teenagers and their two little brothers who are at war with their parents, and not in a family friendly way. There's a lot of nudity and violence and foul language in it. And this was the sequel. Darlings 2, I think the title is Hitting the Fan, but if I would literally translate it, the film would be called Mommy is Angry, and she really is angry, as you can see, because father of the family, her husband, is cheating on her. Pretty successful films. This one, I can't really tell you anything about it. It's a drama set in the Depression era and stars Alan Gere and G.E. Freeman. I don't know if I've ever seen it, to be honest. And this is one of my favorite animes. Post-apocalyptic, action, martial arts, gore fest, Fist of the North Star, Hokuto no Ken from 1986, directed by Toyo Ashida. Everyone should watch this movie. One of my favorite David Cronenberg films, this one and Videodrome are my favorites. The Fly, unique body of work. Cronenberg, the only director that is slightly comparable to David Cronenberg, in my opinion, is a Japanese director Shinya Tsukamoto, who did Tetsuo the Iron Man, Tokyo Fist, and Haze. This one is one of the best made-for-television movies that I saw from the 80s. I think it's Canadian, Vanishing Act, and it stars Mike Farrell, who plays Captain Honeycutt in the sitcom MASH. Margot Kidder is in it, and Elliot Gould. It's a mystery thriller with a lot of twists and turns, and it's recommended. This is the horror comedy Vamp, starring Grace Jones and Chris Makepeace. Cool cover, by the way. Directed by Richard Wenk, and I think Tarantino took a lot of elements from this movie when he wrote From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, cool cover, really cool cover. I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but this one I liked the most back in the day because it largely takes place on Earth. Star Trek Part 4, The Voyage Home. Yeah. Silly Police Academy ripoff about a hamburger baking academy, something like that. Hamburger the motion picture. Yeah. Chasing girls. A little bit of nudity. This is a combat shock exploitation film. It's like the exploitative version of a film like First Lot of or Coming Home. People who were coming from Vietnam and had to return to society. James Remar in an unknown action film that is worth your while. It's not fantastic, but it's certainly worth a watch. Quite cool. Jackie Chan in the martial arts film Amour of God. Again, a Dutch rental tape. A surprisingly amusing horror comedy, My Demon Lover, with Scott Valentine, who played the boyfriend of Justine Bateman on the sitcom Family Ties. Yeah, and some good effects in it. This is Project A Part 2 with Jackie Chan, released here as Project B. Also stars Rosamund Kwan and Maggie Cheung. This is the buddy cop flick Stakeout, directed by John Badham, starring Richard Dreyfuss, Emilio Estevez, and Madeleine Stowe. Great teen comedy by Chris Columbus, Night on the Town, better known as Adventures in Babysitting with Elizabeth Shue and Keith Coogan. Drama by Paul Schrader, Light of Day with Michael J. Fox, Jenna Rollins, and Joan Jett. Minor video hit over here. Wanted Dead or Alive with Rutger Hauer and Gene Simmons. This is a Japanese satire directed by legendary director Shohei Imamura. Stars Ken Ogata, who also starred in Ballad of Narayama and Vengeance is Mine, two better films, by the way. This is more like a satire. I think it takes place in the 20s, 30s, 40s in Japan, where a soldier he becomes one of the most successful pimps or bottle owners of Japan. Can't show you the front cover, but I am able to show you the back. Yeah. This is the horror comedy Ghost Chase by Roland Emmerich, starring Jason Lively, brother of Robin Lively, who was in Karate Kid 3 and Teen Witch. I had a crush on her. One of the most awful Cannon films ever produced, the adventure comedy Going Bananas with Dom DeLuise and David Mendenhall, who was also in Over the Top. And if you've ever seen the documentary about Cannon film, Electric Boogaloo, you might have known that the real orangutan Clyde would have starred in this one. Was hired by Menachem Golan. First day of shooting, the orangutan bit the kid. He was fired and replaced by a guy in a monkey suit. I saw it when I was a kid. It's quite awful. This is a very uneasy to watch romantic comedy, very strange. Cross My Heart with Martin Short and Annette O'Toole. Very strange film. My favorite Alan Parker film, Angel Heart, neo-noir, set in New Orleans with Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro, Lisa Bonet. And last but not least for today, another film produced by Godfrey Ho and Joseph Lai, A Thundering Ninja. This time directed by Joseph Kong. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and I hope you will tune in next time. Goodbye.